It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. Ha, it's Feedback Friday, not a normal week. I'm going to start off with something fun, though, because I need fun. I am roasted. I am wrecked. More on that in a bit. Mouse pads say a lot about people. Very personal things about people. They're fun, and they're nobody's business when you're at home but yours. So this is my existing mouse pad. Should surprise no one. It's a Thundercats mouse pad. But a friend of mine sent me a new mouse pad. And I've had this mouse pad for ages. It takes a lot for me to change my mouse pad. Because this is freaking Thundercats, man. Like, this is like first childhood love, right? But my friend sent me a mouse pad that's cool enough to change it. This is a mouse pad. It's a Snorlax butt mouse pad. This is my sense of humor. I'm going to have to ask him what this stuff in the back is. I think it just keeps it. But replacing the mouse pad officially so my wrist can nestle in Snorlax's butt. It's actually quite comfy, Snorlax's butt. I'll show it to you again so you can see it. Snorlax. It's stupid, sexy Snorlax. It's an in-joke of an in-joke, but this is my mouse pad. And I'm sure someone felt offended by that. I'm sure someone felt offended. And I am so, there's a certain critical mass of you can have empathy for people being offended, and you can have empathy for people not liking something or being uncomfortable by something. It has to be a two-way street. You feel like you matter, and you also feel like other people matter. And the short form for why I am just in done with everything mode this week is that, and this is feelings. We're going to talk about feelings, okay? I ended up feeling like I don't matter. And like I said, feeling. And I realized it's really not that I don't matter. It's the reality is in gaming, there is a lot of awkwardness and a lot of introversion and very few truly professional communicators. And that includes in games journalism. Like, reporters are not necessarily communicators, okay? Like, reporting something and actually communicating something meaningfully, not the same thing. And the reason everything got so nuts in video games is because the main gaming sites lost the ability to read and speak to their core audience in a way that is productive. And I only did one video this week because I pre-recorded it because I am irritated. And every time I try to dip my toe in to be not irritated, I just get irritated again. Because it's an ongoing thing of, and this is the core of it without getting into details. It's a core of it. I want to scream, "This is not important," all the time. In the voice from Nier Automata, "This cannot continue." I want to say, "This is not important. This is not important. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. This is not important. This is not important. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up." That's what my brain's doing over and over and over again. This is not important. Shut the fuck up. And I'm not even going to plug the Patreon today because I got to tamp down on fucking drama there before I start promoting that again. And I made a post for, I made a post on Patreon if you want to see if you are, I made it public so that nobody can claim I'm doing anything nefarious because this cannot continue. This is not important. Shut the fuck up, right? Like, oh my God. People read nefarious intent and then they claim it's not implying nefarious intent, but it is inherently nefarious intent. And when people are this contradictory, it means they are copying a communication style. But, here it is. Patreon.com/LeannaK if you want to see the details of the fucking drama. I'm not going there. I'm going to talk broad strokes about communication stuff, okay? I'm going to highlight one comment that is, this is not important. This is not important. That's what my brain's doing, okay? It's a death by 1,000 cuts, right? It's the ongoing additional cognitive load of having to filter out the unnecessary aggression or accusatory structure, calm the fuck down from the this is not important, shut the fuck up reaction that I have because I'm a human being with fucking feelings and fucking boundaries and a fucking limit to actually answer the question. And when I go to answer the question, it's, this is not important. Why the fuck do you care? So this is it. And this is no slight on the person who wrote it, because this is just one example of the overall trend of, this is not important. Okay. I made an announcement that I'm not going to do another boss fight episode after the election. Until after the US election. And I said I have to record 2 versions of it anyway, because I'm continuing to go. So if I record before the election, I have to record 2 different versions of it. Now, I thought it was self-explanatory. Why? It's to keep the content current. So I'm not speaking about, for instance, former Vice President Joe Biden when he's President Joe Biden now, if he wins. I thought that was self-goddamn explanatory. But I get comments like this. Why do you have to record 2 different episodes of Boss Fight Episode 3? Just talk about both Biden and Trump's comments on video games. Why do you have to wait based off who wins? It just comes off, I'm not accusing you of this, so don't strawman me and say I am, as advantageous. So if I take off the brackets, it reads, it just comes off as advantageous. But I'm not accusing you of this, so don't strawman me and say I am. Or if you're sticking to this plan of only recording one version for whatever reason, you might as well record the Trump one because I feel pretty strongly that he's going to get reelected. Brain automatically goes, shut the fuck up. But it's one of those things that if this guy's asking in a ridiculously combative way, like I'm sorry, commenter, but it's inherently passive aggressive to say it comes off as advantageous, but I'm not accusing you of this, so don't strawman me. Why not just ask, why do you have to record 2 different episodes of Boss Fight Episode 3 because of the election? Like, why not just ask that? Why add it comes off as advantageous? I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what that means, okay? Advantageous with what? With what? What is the advantage here? What? What's the advantage? Show what? To quote your boy Trump, what's the upside here? What advantages me? It's just a question of not knowingly stale dating content, not knowingly creating something that is going to be out of date a week after it airs. Okay? It's just a question of, I don't want a bunch of people going, he's not former vice president anymore, he's the president now, you are inaccurate, this is wrong. Because that's what people do. They friggin' nitpick. And you don't want content dated. And it is an honorific. Some people take it very seriously that you address public office holders by their correct terms. So getting the title of the potentially current, like, president in office of the US and making a clearly dated comment, that's not smart. So what people in all forms of media that have shows that record before an election, where the outcome is always, until the last day, until the ballots are cast, until the count happens, you don't know who's going to win. Things can change. And so everybody who does this, they record one version in case one outcome happens, another version if another outcome happens. The political shows in Canada, like the people who do comedy and therefore like political commentary, like what is it, the Beaverton and stuff like that, they have to record like multiple versions based on like majority government, minority government, conservative, liberal, how many seats did the NDP get, like did the Greens get any seats, how big a pain in the ass was the Bloc this time. Like, there's so many scenarios that they have to record multiple ones. Often they'll just do the Bloc Québécois got a lot of seats in Quebec, and they'll leave it there. But they have to do versions that reference any outcome. Now, there are two issues here. Holding it until after the election, and I don't want to get into this because I don't want to bring it up before the election. People are very jumpy, and people tend to get tunnel vision and go, what? A politician said something I didn't like. I can't vote for them. I don't want any implication. And I said this, that I am somehow a person who does not live in America trying to influence the US election. Recording two versions, again, to air after the election is simply a question of accuracy. I don't know why it comes off as advantageous. Don't strawman me. That is an unessential piece of communication that just muddies the message. And I am really afraid that a lot of people now are learning how to speak to each other based on partisan internet content, where people are just talking past each other and not talking to each other. And the reason this drives me crazy is that I see a lot of people I know in their hearts are good people not getting good results just because it's not that they're inherently bad communicators. They're being taught wrong because they don't, and people can't be expected to understand this stuff unless you communicate for a living. They don't understand what a particular type of communication is designed to do, and therefore they copy that style of communication and then get upset when they get a result that they didn't intend, but the structure of the communication was pretty much guaranteed to get that result. A lot of people in media speak to intentionally push buttons because in the media, you want to create like engagement, and engagement means riling up people's feelings. And especially on the internet, enragement is engagement is the law of the land. And I need to redisconnect from enragement is engagement because it's too much. I am too frustrated. I am too annoyed. People don't realize when they speak to me as someone who's in the media, they're speaking about people in the media as if I am not one. And that's really frustrating because when you go, oh, people in the media are all liars, you're talking about me, okay? You're talking about me. YouTube is media. I used to do television. I'm working on 3 different video games right now. only one of which I can talk about. Like, oh, fuck, four. Oh, God, I forgot. One went back on the table. So, one, I'm tired. Okay, I got a lot of irons in the fire, but I don't want to blow any chances because, this is what I've wanted to do all my life. I finally get an opportunity in an indirect way. I'm not going to screw it up. And you take the work when you got it, right? The other thing that's done is when you're part of a creative process and you really have to focus on that, and people are counting on you to produce stuff, right? And this is not just me. This is other people. Like, this is other people's money, right? And I feel this way about Boss Fight as well. Like, if people have paid, there has to be a certain level of quality. And this is why I've communicated very clearly from the beginning about Boss Fight, because it has taken a lot longer than I expected. A huge part of that is COVID. But it was a much bigger project in terms of producing it than I realized. The editing, just as an example, the editing on Lady Bits, shooting Lady Bits took 1 day. Okay. The editing on Lady Bits took about a week. The editing on Boss Fight takes 3 weeks. And it's about 10 shooting days per episode. And obviously that can't be one right after the other because I need help with cameras and audio and things like that. And so I have to work around people's schedules and all the other things I have to do to earn a living on an ongoing basis, right? So the workload for Boss Fight is, I thought it was going to be like 3 to 5 times what Lady Bits was. It's more like 10 times what Lady Bits was. Just because every time you shoot something, there's a greater chance something can go wrong. And, like, obviously the costumes and everything else are much more elaborate than Lady Bits was. There's a lot of continuity checks, all that stuff. Now, eventually, I think the end product will be worth it. Now, that has even become a buzzkill. And this is what kind of knocked me flat. That instead of being able to enjoy, you made a cool show that it's not the same as Lady Bits, and I get that it's for a different audience, and some people prefer the facts, but they appreciate that, that's already been done. I can't enjoy the fact that people are enjoying it because I'm dealing with drama connected to the party, the Zoom party I did after Boss Fight. And so I said, no more parties. Like, no more. And afterwards it came out that some people were avoiding them precisely because they saw the drama coming. I appreciate that feedback. I feel a little bit better about it after that. Because, it's something that is apparently native to the format. But then the communication issues start up again. And again, when it's just me sitting here and I'm only responsible for me, it's one frame. But now that I'm having to deal with like teams, and every team is very different. And, every role. I mean, that's the thing about games that is unique. You've got these super dynamic, like, oh my God, they shine so bright people with the voice actors and the more creative, the more front forward, the marketing people, all that stuff. They're bombastic, shiny, very exciting people, and you get one kind of energy from them. But then there's the coders, right? And that end, and they have a very different energy. And if you come out of speaking to the creatives and then try to go talk to the coders and you bring that empathic energy from the, hey, everything's big, with the creative people, and you bring them into the coders, you scare the shit out of them and you get accused of being pushy and aggressive. So, containing the energy is super important, right? You have to speak in the appropriate way to the appropriate people. Because then, of course, I go back and I come out of talking to the coders and I go to try to talk to the creative talent and they get annoyed at me for being too passive. And it's just say what you mean. Like, just no, stop being so worried. Stop being so worried you're being bossy. Stop being so worried. Just be yourself. And I'm like, yeah, but if I be myself over there, then they get mad. Right? So it requires a lot of code switching. This kind of code switching as well, like learning Unity interfaces and all that stuff. But also like verbal code switching. And the problem is there's nowhere I can go right now to just be myself. And I thought I could relax in this Zoom party. And that was my mistake. That no, it's something connected to my online brand. It was a mistake to think I didn't have to be on and be in extremely tightly control. The whole point is I didn't want to be. I wanted to sit back and just be one of the guys, so to speak. I don't consider that gendered language. Just be a nerd hanging out with other nerds talking about stuff. But then people are like, people's expectation was not that. People's expectation was it was more like, a public facing thing where there's enforcement and stuff. And no, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. And so right now I'm like, oh God, I have to be constantly on. But then there's this other communication tick. And this is something I feel I really need to I have to say. And if somebody gets their feelings hurt or somebody doesn't take this well, I don't care. Okay? Because sometimes I listen a lot, right? I listen a lot and I take in a lot of feedback and I interpret it. Sometimes I just got to say shit. There are two things that drive me crazy. And they're personal things. I do not expect this to bother everybody, but they personally just push my buttons hard. I really don't respond well to them. One is any form of, a bunch of us have been talking and it's that code switching, right? I need to know exactly who I'm talking to so I don't scare this group and bore the fuck out of this group, right? I can't move too quickly for one and too slowly for the other. So who are we talking about here? Oh, we don't know. Okay. It's a committee. I don't know how big. I don't know who it is. I don't know who the audience it is I'm speaking to. And I am acutely aware that people jump all over me reading stuff in that has nothing to do with what I've said and everything to do with the damage the person brought into the conversation. And I get that damage. That damage is valid. I just gotta know what pile of damage I'm dealing with so I don't necessarily inflame that damage. You know what I'm saying? But it's like people. And this has always driven me crazy. Part of it, I admit, is some, childhood stuff where I was a nerd. And so people just decided they didn't like me and people ganged up and bullied. And one of the things that people do with girls, even though my friends, it's funny because I had a lot more male friends because of the gaming thing than most girls do in that age group. So I didn't even get it as bad as most women, but oh my God, it still sucked. Like around 7th grade when you're not allowed to play with boys anymore because that's weird. Like, what's wrong with you? I had to suddenly go from that cool thing of, oh, we can sit around and talk about like Crystal Castles, Metroid, stuff like that. There were still some girlfriends I played Mario with, but it's not the same. Like the way girls interact with girls and the way boys interact with boys. So all of a sudden I was used to communicating one way And then it was this wonderful world of backbiting and nobody saying what they really meant. And I'm somehow supposed to know that when somebody said this, they meant that. And I hate it. I don't like it. It's not me. I prefer the first form of socialization where if you got a problem, you fight about it. Maybe somebody punches the other person. Possibly they punch the other person in the face. I'm not saying that's right, but that was what went on. I grew up in kind of a rough neighborhood. But you fucking settled it directly. This person said this to them, and they told this person, and this person told that person, and then, but don't tell the other person I said it, and then you go to the person who, oh, okay, I hear you have this issue. Oh, no, I didn't say that. Fucking chasing my goddamn fucking tail. I'm an Ouroboros giving myself a fucking blowjob, and it's not fun for anybody involved because it's teeth and they scratch, and then there's venom and poisoning from the, like, okay? Like, that's what it's like. That's what it's like. Because keep in mind, like, it wasn't just one person saying we have a committee. It's other people who sort of were involved. It's like, basically, at one point, it seemed like we were talking about a very large group, and it took me 3 days to figure out that, oh no, we were actually talking about a fairly small group of people. But that's the problem with bringing a consensus opinion. How big's the goddamn consensus? Okay, and then, oh, I don't want to see. I don't want to say it because they're protecting somebody now. Drives me crazy. And then, of course, the other thing is, oh, they don't want to talk to you about it because they're afraid you're mad at them. Somebody does that to me. Even if I wasn't mad at them before that, now I'm mad at them. That shit drives me crazy. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't have the luxury of ducking people when I think they're mad at me. Okay, you guys get mad at me, I have to come and face you. A client gets mad at me, I have to face them. Twitter gets mad at me, I have to face them eventually. I don't get to run away and hide and go, oh, I don't want to do. You know what? It's bullshit. It's better that you just show up, you take your lumps, and you move on. Because it's all it does when you hide and hope it blows over, it just takes longer to hit you. I do not find that waiting for things to blow over works because it's just blowing into the fire, right? I tried that this time. I tried to give it a few days to sort of let the drama die down, and no, more and more people got pulled into this shit because I hadn't responded to it. And this, again, is not that anybody is doing anything wrong. I am explaining why I'm completely mentally fatigued. And yeah, I'm pissed off. Because here's the problem with, it's, oh, this person said this person is upset, but they don't want to talk to you because they think you're mad at them. Now you're not allowed to be mad at them, right? So I've just eaten a whole ton of shit. I've heard all these people are unhappy. People have aired grievances all over me. But now I'm not allowed to take issue. And even if I was pissed off, I'm not allowed to say so now, am I? I don't play those lack of authenticity games. And I'm really, really surprised that anybody who sees my content doesn't get that about me. Like, I admit, I've been doing a lot of things. What the fuck am I doing wrong that somebody still doesn't get me? And then it's like, this isn't about you. This isn't about you. This is not important. Everybody's just flipping out and responding in general ways. Everybody is doing that thing I am working, not everybody, but, you know, like enough people for it to be in the atmosphere are doing what I have to avoid doing. Don't scare the coders. Don't bore the creatives, right? People think you can talk to different types of people in the exact same way. You can't, okay? You cannot. There is no style of communication that is effective for 100% of the population. None, zip, zero. There's a reason that US elections are so close, okay? Speaking in different ways to different people is not being inauthentic. It's not being fake. It's being considerate. It's not saying different things to different people. That is fake. It's not scaring the coders and not boring the creatives. Okay? That's consideration. That's the only way anything gets done. Because if the coders are scared, they won't code because they're freaking out. And if the creatives are bored, you're not going to get the best performance out of them, right? Right. So basically what it is I am taking in the wrong kind of energy right now for the job that I have to do, even for this content. If I had recorded before now, as you can tell, I'm still pretty shut the fuck up, right? But I'm down. I'm reduced enough that I can joke about it. Anybody who thinks that, this is not important, shut the fuck up, is anything but a joke. It's a joke, okay? Jokes help coping, okay? Not serious. Okay to laugh at the whole thing. Leanna is admitting she went a bit screwball this week, okay? It's a joke. But I'm obviously still pretty exhausted. I'm pretty pissed off. It's a boundary thing. It's everyone back the fuck off and let me think. I'm an introvert. That's what happens. Back the fuck off. Let me think. Give me a moment to brain breathe. Okay? If I had done a video Tuesday or Wednesday, it would have been fucking batshit. And I know this. And I actually warmed up on Twitter a little bit, voicing opinions, having people completely misconstrue them and warp them and go all crazy. And Tuesday, no, I was mad. By yesterday, no, I was laughing at them. I was laughing at them freaking out and recognizing that's about them, not me, So I was back in a risk immune state. I was back in a rejection immune state. I was back in an ability to be criticized, often unfairly, and be okay with it. Have it not feel like a knife to the gut. Tuesday, Wednesday, it felt like a knife to the gut. I was just choking on criticism and negativity and crap because my buttons had been pushed. That's adulting. So that's what's happened. Horribly, you find it amusing. And even if you don't, I have a Snorlax butt pad. I have a Snorlax butt mouse pad. I have a stupid, sexy Snorlax. And unless you're a mutual friend of my friend, you don't have a super sexy Snorlax butt mouse pad. So I win at life. Okay, everybody, have a good weekend. Hopefully it's more peaceful than mine. And remember, if somebody starts griefing you about politics, this is not important, shut the fuck up. And how can you say politics isn't important? No, that nitpicky, picky issue with the debate, unless it was the fucking fly in Mike Pence's hair, that is of epic importance. No, it's not. That's a joke. But seriously, that issue that people think is really important, this is not important, shut the fuck up, okay? Because elections are all about distracting you from the truly important stuff to try to distill things down into things people understand. So if in doubt, this is not important, and now I'm going to shut the fuck up. Okay, thanks for watching.